Some of the characters in Harry Potter made some wild and unhinged decisions over the course of the 7 books. Things that when you take a step back and look at it, you just go, damn, what were they thinking? Welcome to Movie Flame. I'm Morgan Ross, and today I'm going to go over the 15 most unhinged things characters in the Harry Potter series ever did. If you enjoy this video, please consider liking and sharing. It will greatly help to grow and sustain the channel. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, and you can also follow me on all of my other social media pages, all of which are linked down below, and all of which house similar content that I make here on this channel. Now that I've said that, let's get into it. Number 1. Hagrid breeding blast-ended Skrewts and using them in class. This was absolutely wild of Hagrid to do. He decided to breed a new species by crossbreeding a freaking manticore and a fire crab. For reference, the manticore is described as one of the most dangerous creatures in the wizarding world. They're giant beasts that have the head of a human, the body of a lion, and the tail of a scorpion that would kill anyone instantly with its sting. This is what Newt and Theseus just barely escaped from in the 3rd Fantastic Beasts movie. And fire crabs have the ability to shoot flames from their rear end. Breeding these two beasts is so unhinged. And let's not forget the fact that it's illegal to breed beasts like this without the consent of the Ministry. So Hagrid literally broke the laws to do this. And listen, this could be chalked up to Hagrid being Hagrid. But the most unhinged thing about this is that he decided to use these dangerous beasts for teaching purposes. He had the kids raise these creatures, leading to loads of injuries, burns, and terror. I don't know what he was thinking. Number 2, Umbridge sending Dementors to Little Whinging. This was a bold move by Dolores. She decided to send the creatures they used to guard the most dangerous criminals in the wizarding world to attack a 15-year-old boy in a muggle residence, I might add. This is so dangerous because Harry could have actually gotten his soul sucked out of him, not to mention any muggle they encountered, which almost happened. Dudley almost got his soul sucked out. And had the Dementors succeeded in doing so, this would have left these two boys in a vegetative state. She thought it was worth the risk though to get Harry to use magic and get kicked out of school. But there were so many other ways she could have done this. It was so unhinged to even think of doing this, much less to carry it out. Number 3, Dobby sending a bludger after Harry to save him. Dobby had good intentions with this, but he went about it in possibly the worst way. Like with Umbridge, there were so many other alternative ways he could have tried to get Harry to leave school. Sending the hardest, fastest, and most dangerous ball in the game of Quidditch to pursue Harry non-stop was an unhinged thing to do. This of course landed Harry in the hospital wing with a broken arm, and thanks to Lockhart, no bones. Luckily for him, Madame Pomfrey was up to the task to regrow those bones. However, not all of us are lucky enough to have a doctor like Madame Pomfrey, but ZocDoc can ensure you easily find someone just as good. My sponsor ZocDoc is a free website where you can easily search and compare high-quality in-network doctors so you can find the right doctor for you. Whether you're looking for someone in-network, nearby, or with specific appointment times, ZocDoc helps you quickly find the right doctor for your needs. I recently had a baby, my first, and between running this channel and all of the added but wonderful duties being a father added to my life, it oftentimes makes me forget to put my health first. And that's important now more than ever to make sure I'm healthy for my family. ZocDoc has been a lifesaver for me because all of those doctor appointments I put off were so easy to schedule. I had recently forgotten to make a dentist appointment, and with ZocDoc's help, I didn't have to do a bunch of research because I had ready and available reviews from previous patients in the ZocDoc system, and I got an appointment that same day. The dentist I found gave me one of the most pleasant experiences I've ever had too, and being able to do this so fast, it allowed me to get back to work and to parenting duties. And ZocDoc isn't just for one type of care. They have more than 100,000 providers across nearly every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skincare, and much more. It's the one-stop shop for all your healthcare needs, plus it's completely free. Madame Pomfrey might not be around to patch us up, but ZocDoc can help you find a doctor just as skilled. Go to ZocDoc.com/movieflame, also linked in the description, to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. Now, back to the show. Number 4. Lucy is purposely making the Chamber of Secrets reopen. Lucius really woke up one day and was like, it would be cool if a bunch of mudbloods died this year. He had been told by Voldemort that the diary given to him had the power to reopen the Chamber of Secrets if it made its way back to Hogwarts. And Lucius on a whim just decided that that would be pretty neat. And what makes this even more messed up is that he snuck it in with his rival Arthur Weasley's daughter, ensuring that she was in more danger than anyone, being the vessel. And if that wasn't unhinged enough, he also swooped in like he was the hero and got Dumbledore, another person he hated, fired from the post as headmaster. Unfortunately for Lucius, nobody died, and Dumbledore knew exactly what he had done. He's lucky Dumbledore isn't a snitch, I'll tell you that. Number 5. Sirius sending Snape to die. Sirius despised Snape, but he took this way too far. Knowing that Lupin, one of his best friends, was fully transformed into a werewolf, he decided to tell Snape to go through the tunnel to the Shrieking Shack to see him. This absolutely would have led to Snape's death, or at best, would have seen Snape being bitten and turned into a werewolf himself. That alone is absolutely unhinged, but what makes this even worse is the fact that Sirius almost made Lupin a murderer, as he would have had Snape's blood on his hands. That probably would have scarred him for life, and I doubt Remus would ever be the same. Sirius is so lucky that James chased after Snape and pulled him back at the last moment. Otherwise, Sirius would have actually been responsible for someone's death. Number 6. Arthur Weasley blowing up the Dursleys' living room. When Arthur went to pick Harry up from Privet Drive in the Goblet of Fire, he made the Floo network be connected to the Dursleys' Muggle fireplace. However, he didn't know that the Dursleys had an electric fireplace, meaning it was boarded up. This led to Mr. Weasley, Ron, Fred, and George all being trapped behind the wall. Now, there were several things that he could have done here. He could have apparated into the living room, then apparated back to the burrow with Harry holding on, or he could have gone back and picked Harry up in a different way. But he decided to just blow the wall up, which would never come to my mind. This made the fireplace erupt into the Dursleys' living room, destroying the place. Arthur of course knew that the Dursleys hated magic, so having a wizard do this to their house was not a good look to make them be more accepting of the wizarding world. In fact, this does quite the opposite, and you would think that Arthur would know this better than anyone, as he worked in the misuse of Muggle artifacts office. And something could have easily gone wrong. What if the explosion hit one of the Dursleys, or even Harry? I just don't know what his thought process was that led him to make this unhinged decision. Number 7. Lupin leaving his pregnant wife. When Remus got Tonks pregnant, he started freaking out. He thought that he had created another werewolf, and that his son would come out with lycanthropy just like him. Now you would think he'd want to be there to help his son in any way he could, not to mention help his wife Nymphadora Tonks. He of course knew more about werewolves than anyone, so he had the means to take the right measures needed, ensuring his son and family would be safe. But he decided to run off and leave Tonks alone with a baby that he suspected might be a werewolf when it was born. I don't know what on earth was going on in his head. Then when Harry put him in his place, calling Lupin a coward, which he absolutely was, Remus shot Harry back, making him slam against the wall, and then ran away. And all of that drama was entirely unnecessary because Teddy came out normal. He wasn't even a werewolf. Lupin knew that what he had done was unhinged because he returned home to his family after that, and he made Harry the godfather for helping him see reason. Number 8. Fred and George pushing Montague into the Vanishing Cabinet. When Grant Montague, a Slytherin student part of Umbridge's Inquisitorial Squad, tried to dock points from the twins, they decided to push him into a Vanishing Cabinet. The twins then left him there, not even worrying about where he was after he'd been gone for over 24 hours. Grant ended up having to apparate out, even though he didn't have his license to do so, and he reappeared with his head trapped in a toilet. Following this, he was disoriented for weeks, and his parents had to come pick him up. However, the twins did nothing but laugh about this. That's pretty unhinged. Number 9. Merope giving Tom Riddle Sr. a love potion. Merope Gaunt lived a tough life. She was inbred, abused, and mistreated by her brother and father. However, when they went to Azkaban, she decided to pursue her crush, the muggle boy across the hill named Tom Riddle Sr. He was insanely handsome, and as said, she was ugly and inbred, so she had pretty much no chance to be with him. Most would shoot their shot, and when rejected would walk away and accept it. However, Merope decided to give Tom a love potion, forcing him to leave his girlfriend, fall in love with her, and eventually impregnate her. Now, I have no idea why love potions are even legal, because they're basically date rape drugs. And Merope essentially used a date rape drug on a man for months, forcing him to do who knows what. Well, actually, we know one thing, considering she was pregnant. Oof. Merope became so unhinged that she thought Tom would love her even without the love potion. However, as soon as she stopped giving it to him, he left faster than a dad when someone mentions a trip to Home Depot. Number 10. Hermione trapping Rita Skeeter in a jar and blackmailing her. Clever Hermione figured out Rita's secret, which was that she was an illegal animagus having the ability to turn into a beetle. This was how she got all of the juicy gossip during the events of the Goblet of Fire. But Hermione had something to say about this. You would think that most would just confront her and probably blackmail her. But Hermione decided to make one of the most unhinged decisions a character ever made in the series, which was snatch her up, lock her in a jar, and put an unbreakable spell on it so she couldn't transform back to her human form. She then left her in there for the remainder of the school year, took her on the train, and proudly showed off what she had done to Ron and Harry. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the most diabolical things I've ever heard. And you know damn well Hermione cashed in on that dirt she had, blackmailing Rita into writing an article for her. Number 11. 12-year-old Harry and Ron flying a car to Hogwarts. Like many unhinged decisions on this list, there were many alternatives to the decision they ended up making. When they couldn't get through the barrier, instead of waiting for Mr. and Mrs. Weasley to figure out how to get back, or as McGonagall said, instead of sending Hedwig with a letter to the school telling them what happened, they decided to fly a magical car over London, being seen by loads of muggles, and flying across the hills of Scotland of Hogwarts, which by train was an all-day trip. This was such an unhinged decision that actually got Mr. Weasley in a ton of trouble. Not to mention, they crash landed into the Whomping Willow and were almost killed. As McGonagall said, they were not thinking when they made that choice. Number 12. Hermione putting a curse on the DA sign-up sheet. We have another Hermione example. This one was what she did to the sheet that everybody signed when Dumbledore's army was formed. Without telling anyone, she put a curse on it, which made anyone who ratted the club out have the word sneak be written across their face in pimples, which is actually pretty creative and pretty hilarious. But the most unhinged thing about this is that this marking is pretty much permanent, which might be taking it a little too far. When Marietta Edgecombe ratted them out to Umbridge, this sneak mark appeared on her face and it stayed there for a long time. She still had it during the following school year, and the mark was as clear as ever. Number 13. Sirius breaking into Gryffindor Tower with a knife. This is something that I feel like nobody ever talks about, but it's one of the most unhinged decisions Sirius ever made, and that's saying something. While he was on the run and was the most wanted criminal maybe of all time, he decided to just stroll into Hogwarts, break into Gryffindor Tower with a knife, stand over Ron's bed with the knife held up, and attempt to stab his pet rat that was currently laying in bed with him. Ron literally saw the only criminal who would ever escape from Azkaban, who supposedly murdered 13 people with one spell, standing over him with a knife like a madman. Sirius definitely did not think this plan all the way through, because when Ron screamed, he had to flee, making all of that risk be for nothing. Number 14. Voldemort splitting his soul 7 times. Horcruxes are one of the most dangerous, evil pieces of magic in the wizarding world. To make one, you have to actually commit a murder, the worst crime any human can ever commit. This process was incredibly dangerous and insanely unstable. Doing so could easily kill you because messing with your soul is risky stuff. So to even do this once is crazy, but to do it 7 different times is completely unhinged. Nobody had even attempted to split their soul more than once. So Voldemort setting out to do this brought him into the complete unknown of what would happen. You have to be insane to do this, which Voldemort definitely was, so that makes sense. Number 15. Peter Pettigrew killing 12 muggles and framing one of his best friends. Wormtail is one of the biggest cowards in the wizarding world, but he made perhaps one of the most ballsy and unhinged decisions ever made by a character. After he gave his friends up to the tyrant Lord Voldemort, when confronted by his other friend, he caused an explosion that killed 12 muggles, he cut off his freaking finger, turned into a rat for the next 12 years, framed Sirius and made him go to Azkaban, and was the pet of multiple members of the Weasley family. And the fact that he even pulled this off is absolutely wild, at least until he didn't. Let me know in the comments below if you can think of any more Unhinged moments in the series. If you enjoyed this video, I have a bunch of others just like it, like this one where I react to an article that said that Hermione should have chosen Krum over Ron, or this one where I go over the worst headmaster in Hogwarts history. That's all for this video though, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.